All right, everyone. Good evening. Welcome back to the 6 o'clock session. For those of you who have just come in, a couple of house rules. Please ensure that your mics are muted and that your videos are switched off through the session. There will be time for questions at the end of each session. You're welcome to either unmute and then speak, or you could drop your questions and comments in the chat box. In case you don't get your questions answered, you can always email us on events@uaecareerscommunity.com and we'll ensure that the speaker gets back to you. Finally, if anyone is found disrupting the session, they will unfortunately be removed and will not be allowed back in. All right, so this is our final session for the evening. We have with us Miss.Everyl Colaco. Just as a quick introduction, Everyl has been part of Curtin University Dubai's team over the past 3 years across various roles in student experience and the academic department. She is currently an associate lecturer in the foundation program. She is also the senior teaching and learning coordinator, unit coordinator for units such as critical thinking and project management, and she oversees student experience and the Curtin Dubai Student Council. Everyl has emceed for notable events such as the first graduation ceremony of the university campus in Dubai back in 2020. She's also hosted the Dewa Business Cup Challenge in 2020 and is a prominent speaker amongst high schools in the UAE. Everyl holds a Bachelor of Commerce in Marketing and Management and a TEFL certification. She is currently pursuing her master's in business administration and is due to graduate in 2021. So over to you, Everyl. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Shweta, for that introduction. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for staying on. I'm sure it's been a pretty long day. Thank you for being patient and for holding on. I promise to make this session hopefully not too boring and not too long. Now, today, the topic that we'll be discussing is life after secondary education. So basically, life after high school. So whether you're pursuing a CBSE education, A levels, O levels, regardless of it. Now, when you're at that stage in life, you're probably 16, 17. Sometimes, if you're deciding to study foundation, you might even be 15 years old. And the one question that everyone wants to know is what's next, right? Whether it be your parents, your friends, you yourself would probably have that question in mind. And while it may seem daunting, it's not always that big or that scary of a deal as we make it out to be. When, for instance, I graduated high school in 2015, so that's a good 6 years ago. Okay. And at that point, I just decided, okay, since I've studied commerce in high school, or I took commerce in high school or a business related units, I thought that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing. And I didn't think too much about my major, Now, I am going to quickly take you through a few highlights of my journey, from an educational and career standpoint, in hopes to make you understand, what you can sort of expect. Obviously, it's not a preset thing that's the same for everyone. Everyone's experience is very unique to themselves. But just to give you a glimpse. Now, in 2015, I finished high school in April, May. After I finished high school, I took a break of about a month and a half. I traveled back to India. I visited a couple of states. That was fun, just a little breather from all that pressure in high school and, doing well in your 12th grade, all of that. Now, once I finished a little bit of traveling, what I did prior to joining my undergraduate program was I did a 1 month internship. Now, you might be like, okay, what was your one question that pops up in people's mind is, was your internship directly related to what you're currently doing? Well, the answer to that would be no. I did a 1 month internship in the human resource department of a company in the Dubai Oil Field Center. Okay. And at that point, I was still deciding on what my major was in what my major was going to be in university, which was starting probably a month later. Okay. So I knew I wanted to do a Bachelor's of Commerce, but in what was still a big question mark over there. You know, I did the internship. I got a little bit of work experience. I earned some little money at the side. It was fun. It just sort of gave you a very different mindset to life and just got you to think a little out of the box. There's only so much you can understand about a certain role or understand about a certain field of study by reading or just learning about it. You really sometimes got to experience it firsthand. Okay. So when I started my bachelor's degree, I initially started in I did a double majors initially in finance and management, but once I completed my first semester, I pretty soon realized that finance was not something I genuinely wanted to do in the long run, and hence I switched to marketing. And at that point, having the switch was easy to do, but sort of telling myself that, okay, you know what, now this is what I'd initially hoped to do or hoped to become. Now I sort of got to slightly change that route. And that even these minor changes that we talk about tend to be very scary, especially since it's the first time we're in university. Everything's very uncertain, very new. Okay. But irregardless of what major you pick up, irregardless of that, you need to, experience events around you. You need to network. That's one thing I realized is pretty much the most important, irregardless of whether you do a degree in medicine, whether you do a degree in business, whether you do a degree in engineering. It doesn't matter. None of that is truly going to, help you reach your true potential unless you combine it with networking and taking in as many opportunities as you possibly can. In my first semester at university, I volunteered for a graduation ceremony. I volunteered in a fundraising competition, and I participated in not every, but as many events as possible, considering, I had classes in between as well. So my first semester in university went by pretty quickly, you know. And in 2016, I continued volunteering. It wasn't a one-time thing because see, if you do something a couple of years ago and then you just take a break, it doesn't really matter. It's outdated by then. You need to keep doing it, right? In 2016, I landed an internship with the student experience team. I also tried out for the student council. So I didn't get it the first time, but I guess I got it the second time around. So I worked as the community service officer for about a year. Now, student councils, regardless of whether they are in school, whether they are in university, great learning experience, great networking experience. Looks great on your CV as well. So, I mean, it's a win-win situation, to be honest with you. In 2017, I secured an internship for the second time with the same department I had interned for previously at the same university. And once I started interning, this internship went on for quite some time. I was almost at the last leg of my undergraduate degree. And because of the fact that I didn't take a break, I was lucky enough to get a full-time position at the same university. So I got a full-time student experience officer position at Curtin University in early 2018, May 2018. And again, people have this misconception that, oh, I have a job now, and okay, now it's everything's easy going. You don't do anything, you just sit tight. And okay, this is what I'm going to be doing day in and day out. It's not that simple. Whether you're in university, whether you're working, whether you're doing a mix of both, you cannot stop working on yourself at any point. You can take breaks. They're very, very important. They're very much needed in order for you to have that motivation, in order for you to have that energy. But you need to keep constantly working upon yourself. You're not doing it for anyone else. You're doing it for yourself. You're benefiting out of it. In in the past 2.5 years, since I started working on a full-time basis, I have worked on building my skills. Nothing, out of the blue, nothing extraordinary. I have worked on building my public speaking skills. Back when I started my undergraduate degree, I used to be a nervous wreck when it came to presentations. Even group presentations where you have, 4 to 5 other people standing in class with you used to get me so nervous. I used to be standing right next to the podium. I'm like, if I feel dizzy, if I feel like I'm about to faint, the podium's going to catch me. That was my outlook back in 2015, 2016, even. Okay. But I think the more you put yourself out there, the more you take opportunities, regardless of how comfortable you are with them. Okay. You will eventually get over that initial fear, that initial hesitance that we tend to have. Okay. I started my master's in 2019. I'm 2 months away from completing it. So I finish it the end of this May. And soon after applying, starting with my master's, I applied for a teaching position at Curtin India Foundation program. Okay, so trust me when I say this. In 2015, if anyone had asked me, okay, that would I be speaking on a public platform for a living, would I be teaching for a living, I would have never dreamt of saying yes. You know, I pretty much I limited myself, I would say. I thought, okay, I'd get done with my degree, I'd search for a regular marketing job, and that's pretty much it. But because of the experiences I had before and during university, during my undergraduate degree, it sort of helped me determine what it is that I actually enjoy doing. And, while they say that, okay, you can't be a jack of all trades, but here's the thing you need to remember. You can truly like more than one thing. And it is possible. Maybe not always at the same time, but it is possible to pursue different things at the same time. Maybe you might sometimes decide to pursue something over the weekend. You might decide to pursue something initially and then add on to it. It's fine. It's never too late to pursue something new, and it's never too late to keep trying to pursue something. Okay? Think about it. I mean, I literally would have never imagined, talking on a platform like this. And see, honestly, I would tell you all, if I can do it, anyone can. I mean, someone with immense stage fright, with immense phobia of public speaking, I'm pretty sure you all are being trained in high school, in university. For those of you that have joined the career fair from desk, with a wonderful team like Maria's, I'm pretty sure you're getting all the support that you possibly can, and you're getting, much better prepared for um, a great career, a great future ahead. Now, when you're thinking of what's next, remember, it's okay to not always have a plan completely drawn out and detailed. It's okay to fill in the details as you go and progress through it. Okay? It doesn't always necessarily mean you have to have everything jotted down and it will go exactly as per plan. It doesn't. Let's be honest about it. I mean, after the year we've all had, I think we understand that a little bit better now. Now, when it comes to finishing high school, generally most of us have a couple of months off before we start university. So if you finished in, you know, April, May, some of us decide to take, the summers off, and we tend to start university in September. And that's all right. Now, there's always the daunting question, what do I do before university? You might have a university in mind. You may or may not have your major figured out, but that's all right. It's not the end of the world. Okay. But what are some things you can do right after? I know I'm mentioning travel and it isn't the most ideal thing at this point or the most appropriate suggestion, but if not travel, I would highly recommend taking a break. Taking a break so that you yourself can fully understand that, yes, I'm done with high school, I'm moving on into a new phase of life, and I need to mentally be ready for that. I need to, just take a little time to myself, enjoy myself, gain some new experiences, and then start university. Now, when I mean take a break, I don't always recommend, you know, something as long as a gap year, but a semester, a few months, even a month is pretty good enough. Okay. Short in country breaks are good as well. Anything that's keeping you safe, keeping in mind the current situation, as long as you're safe, take a break. Other than that, there are tons of volunteering opportunities available. You don't necessarily have to be in university or be in school, actively in order to volunteer. There are tons of volunteering opportunities available all around us. You just need to research, you need to Google, you need to find out. There are things happening in almost every community. Check to see, and a suggestion would be checking in with the university you're planning to join. Check and see if they have any volunteering opportunities open for students that are expected to join soon. You don't even have to be a current student. Maybe if you've already sort of been in touch with them, and if they have any networking opportunities or volunteering events, participate in those. Internships. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I did my first internship even before getting into university, and that really helped. I mean, did it help me decide if I wanted to do HR? Yes, it helped me decide I didn't want to do that. Didn't want to focus into that department. And I did gain some very helpful skills that can be used in the workplace. So it wasn't that I was wasting my time or was doing something I'm not interested in. It just helped me understand myself a little bit better. So whether it's a paid internship or a limited time frame unpaid internship, apply for it. Get that experience. Most of you are just in high school, so you still don't have the necessary skills that are required at a workplace. Hence, use these unpaid internships, even if they may not always seem ideal, and get that work experience you require in order to land yourself that amazing, great internship in the future. Currently, due to the pandemic, the one good thing that has probably one of the few good things that has come out of it is the wide amount of online internships that have become available. you know so now more than ever before, you can do interviews online. There are work from home situations. You don't even have to travel much. So I think it's a great opportunity. You can even try for internships internationally. You're not really limited anymore to searching for an internship only within the country. So that's a great idea to start off with. Gain some experience. Now, what I would recommend is, if you're very unsure on what, I'm going to give you an example of a commerce degree, for example. If, under Bachelors of Commerce, there are so many variations. For instance, at Curtin, we have options in digital marketing, small business enterprises, international business. There are so many different options. But we're not always 100% certain on what major we may particularly want to, dive into. Internships are the best way to figure that out. Just having theoretical knowledge isn't enough. Being able to do that job day in and day out really gets you to figure out whether you'd want to be doing that in the long run. You'd want to dive right into it or not. So even if you feel, okay, you're not sure if this particular field is for you, try an internship out. You're not losing anything, you're only gaining experience and maybe some money. So that's you. Now, other than internships, what can you do during your summer break? The transition period between high school and school. Research for courses, short courses or certifications online. I mean, you don't even literally have to go to any institute or any center anymore. There are so many opportunities available. Google has tons of free certifications available in different areas that you can pursue. You can space them out during your summer break. You can do them even while you're traveling. Some of them are so easy that you can even do them from your phone. You don't always have to be, stationed at one place to be able to do them. You can do them while you're taking the metro, while you're taking the bus. You can make some time for it. Okay. Think of skills that think of courses or look up courses that you feel will add to your skill set. which you feel maybe is something you want to do on the side. You want to see if you'd be able to pursue this as a hobby. Irregardless, spend some time on it. It's your summer, it's your break, it's that transition period where you really are getting to know yourself. Now, other than that, other than the fact that, intern or do a course, you also need to remember to take care of yourself. That's very, very important. When it comes to yourself, exercising, I don't necessarily mean go spend 2 hours at the gym or, run 7 days a week or something. All I mean is challenge yourself to keep yourself healthy. You're doing it for yourself. You don't have to do 7 days a week, but even if you do 4 to 5 days a week, half an hour, start with half an hour, start with something easy, just to keep yourself energetic. A lot of people have been complaining that during the pandemic, during the lockdown, they've been stuck at home. They have either gained a lot of weight and they're feeling very unhealthy, or the fact that, your muscles are getting stiff. I mean, gaining weight is a different thing, but if you yourself are feeling very exhausted, very lethargic, that really impacts the productivity of your day. It said that it takes 21 days to form a habit. Try challenging yourself for just something as simple as 21 days, 30 minutes for 21 days. Or even if you want to start a little simpler, 20 minutes. It's fine. Do some in-home exercises. You don't even need to sign up at a gym. YouTube is your best friend right now. Find a lot of home videos, do 20-minute workouts, or literally take a walk around the park. It's as simple as that. Just something to get you in a more positive mindset, get you to feel a little more active and lighter on your feet. Okay? Work on building a routine for yourself. As much as I've done this at some point, okay, I highly don't recommend wasting your summer sleeping away. Get fit, get proactive, make the most of it. But again, this is what I said right at the start. As much as you need to push yourself, it's okay, it's normal to give yourself some off days every now and then. Okay. Now, one of the last things that I wanted to talk about is focusing on your mental health and building your own schedule, building your own timetable. Okay. I mean, right now, a lot of us tend to feel isolated. We're not getting to meet our friends, we're not getting to meet our family members very often. And yes, it is daunting, it is upsetting. And, sometimes we are like, okay, it's not fair. Why is it happening? And why isn't it ending? Right? I think that's pretty much one of the questions that's on all of our minds. Now, unfortunately, this is a very unprecedented situation, and we need to deal with it. We need to make the most of it. Keep days just for yourself, even if you're studying, even if you're in university or you're in that break period between high school and university. Keep some time every day for yourself. Don't be so glued to your laptops, that you don't have time for yourself at all. It's very easy to, we spend most of our days at work hopping from one Zoom room to the other. And at times it does get a little overwhelming. Every now and then you need a half an hour to just switch off and, go have some tea, go take a walk, have some coffee. If you want to watch Netflix for half an hour, do it, you know. Just make sure that you don't allow yourself to get bogged down with the non-stop situation going on around you. Prioritize your mental health. Check in with yourself weekly. For some people, keeping a journal, keeping a journal, writing things that happened with you during the week helps. Try it out. I mean, there's no harm. You're not losing out on anything. Learn to focus on being more thankful. I think a lot of us during the pandemic have started, questioning a lot of things in life. And we tend to find when things get tough, we tend to find things a little upsetting. We get upset more easier. Another approach to dealing with it is possibly being thankful for what's going right, rather than focusing on what's going wrong. It's much more lighter. It helps you feel lighter. I mean, there are some days where you just don't feel like doing it, and that's okay. But every now and then, pick yourself up, because if you don't, no one else is probably going to do it either. All right. Now, one of the last things that I wanted to talk about is creating a CV and LinkedIn profile. A lot of the students that come into university straight out of high school don't have, I'm not expecting you all to have a LinkedIn profile, but at the very least, we do expect some of you all to have a basic CV. Okay. So you all need to get into the habit of creating a CV and a LinkedIn profile. It could be something as simple as just logging in your volunteering experience and your work experience, any internship you did over the summer, any part-time gig you picked up for a few days. Log it, you know, post about it, start networking. If you're not really too sure about how to create a CV or how to create a LinkedIn profile, meet with your high school or university careers team for feedback right at the start. Don't wait for someone to come to you. Go to the careers team. Most high schools and universities, such as Curtin University, have a designated careers team that's waiting and eager to help you. But obviously, they can't dream of what level you're at as an individual. You need to reach out and say, okay, this is my current situation, this is what I've done, and this is the help I really need. And once you sort of have a chat with them, get an introduction meeting, they're more than happy to help you out, right? So again, I know, updating your LinkedIn or updating your CV tends to get a little, tedious at times, but if you do it right after every event you attend, it's literally just a 5 to 10 minutes, um, task for you, rather than you having to do everything all in one go. Start with something basic. If you open a Word document, Word has a basic CV format available. Fill it in with the basic details you have and take it to your high school or university career counselor, and they'd help you modify it, and they'd help guide you in the right direction and explain to you on how you can improve it and use it to your advantage. So these are things you don't need to always wait to get into university to start. There's so much that you can do. These are just a few of the things, you know. Spend your time very productively. But at the same time, remember, it's not a race, okay? Everyone's experience is different. What works for someone necessarily always doesn't work for you. Make the experience your own. Spend enough time with yourself, with your own thoughts, trying to figure out what it is that you really like, what you're passionate about, what gets you excited and keeps you driven. All right. Now, with that, we come to the end. We come the end of today's presentation. I hope some of the things I said at least made sense to you, and you're able to utilize them or at least try them out. As I said, it takes 21 days to form a habit. It's not too late to start. And remember, it's not a competition. So, all the best and have a great week ahead.
Everil, thank you so much for that session. We just have a quick comment from Amir who has said thank you as well. I know it's
Awesome.
the last session in the day, and it's been an incredibly long day for us, but we did have a couple of viewers on our YouTube page as well, and a class streaming in. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Does anyone have any other questions?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, April, and thank you to our audience for patiently sitting through the entire day, 11 hours of sessions nonstop. Once again, thanks for attending the UAE Careers Community Virtual Career Fair, and we look forward to welcoming all of you back next year. Thanks again.